senator is coming. Moses, please come. I just want to let you know that we are happy that now we can invite the male senators. Those days there would just be one woman. Isn't it amazing?
Thank you, Honorable Millie Odhiambo. To the church, to the family of Mama Asiyo, I stand before you to once again convey my condolences. We have been together since we got the news. We have been together at home in Wikondiek. We were together last night at the old sanctuary, and we shall not tire. We will be with you up to the point where we are praying for Mama at home. For the record, I'm also a member of this church, even though the only time I get an opportunity to stand here is when there's a funeral. Otherwise, the rest of the days I sit up there in the balcony, because Pastor Misiani has been very, very clear on the separation of church and state, church and politics. So I welcome you to this church. It is a church that has mentored and grown a lot of people who have gone ahead to do great things in this republic. The story of Mama Phoebe is a story of our nation. If you listen carefully to her achievements, it encompasses the development and growth of various sectors in this country, be it education, be it religion. She was the daughter of a pioneer Adventist pastor. Be it politics, she was a pioneer politician. Be it women empowerment, be it the rights of children, be it women empowerment. When you read Mama Phoebe's story, you will know and you'll understand the story of our nation. In fact, in a big way, even the redefinition of the Luo culture, Mama Phoebe played a very big role. In her book, It Is Possible, there is a passage where she tells a story when she was 13 years old, and she was due for the Luo practice of extraction of the lower teeth. We call it nago. She was due to be, to be nagwad. And she presented herself in her own account. She was given a concoction. She was told, don't swallow it. Just swallow it in the mouth. And she was ready. And when the nagist was about to nago her, one of the uncles came and thrashed her and whipped her with that thing we call bokarao and carried her off. And that is how Mama Phoebe managed to keep her lower teeth. Many girls of a generation were not able to keep their lower teeth. In fact, that is why the Luos usually struggle with Sha and Sa. That one of health, we call it Sa, because our teeth have been extracted as part of that. In the book, It Is Possible, Mama tells us that a girl can rise, a girl who's been educated, a girl who's been given equal opportunities as men, can be better than men. In a book, she tells us that she was made a head girl, but because she was a girl, she could not take up the position of head girl. How sad and unfortunate it was, but things have changed today. In fact, due to Mama Phoebe's efforts, trailblazing and pioneering efforts, she just did not walk. She didn't walk the talk or talk the walk. She just did not talk. I mean, look at Homa Bay County, the county that I'm so proud to represent, the county of these great people. Today, out of 12 leaders, because we have 8 MPs, we have a senator, we have a woman rep, we have a governor, and we've got the nominated Senator Beatrice Ogola. Out of 12 apex political leadership in Homa Bay, 6 are women and 6 are men. Tell me which other county can boast of that. Tell me which other county. Mama Phoebe, she just didn't talk. Things were happening because of her inspiration. Now, for the men, the 6 women who are at the apex of leadership in Homa Bay County, when you put together the degrees and the academic qualifications, they far outstrip the combined degrees of the 6 men. So there is also a danger that is creeping in. And our only comeback with the ward chief is that whereas the women have kichwa moja degree tatu, the men can be kichwa moja bibi tatu. So that's where we find the equilibrium. But Phoebe, Phoebe, that is why I'm kept at the balcony. I'm usually not allowed to come here. Let me conclude by saying that the Phoebe I knew was very different from the Phoebe who contested in 1979, because she was graceful. She was grace personified. I mean, she spoke quietly. She made it possible that you could rebuke people without shouting. You could correct without shouting. And you could impact without being bad. The Phoebe I knew was a friend and age mate of my father. Both of them born in 1932. Both of them born to pioneering Adventist pastors. They met at Kamagambo. My father went to Kamagambo in around 1947. Phoebe was denied the opportunity to study mathematics because girls were not allowed to study mathematics. My father was allowed to study mathematics. He ended up being a mathematics teacher. After they left Kamagambo, Phoebe was called to Alliance, and she couldn't go to Alliance, she went to Kangaroo. My father was called to King's College Budo, but he chose Bugema. But of her classmates, Phoebe was better than all of them. And I must admit that even my late father admitted that Phoebe was better, she was smarter, she was more driven, she was cleverer. And we pray that that will trickle down on the children that she has left behind. And we have interacted with many of them. We have been with them in many activities, including the last pet project that Mama had. That was the development of Ikondiek SDA Church. And to my fellow politicians, and even the leaders of the women's movement and the children's rights movements, at her last moments, Mama belonged to the church. She had a stint in politics, a stint in the women's rights movements, but her life in church was not a stint. It started in 1932 and continues today. And so, as we pray for Mama, let us allow the church to do that which Mama wished or to have done. But let us also go back to this family and ensure that the Wikondiek SDA Church that Mama loved so much can be completed, and that all the things that Mama had aspired to can be seen to fruition. The senator from Nairobi, Edwin Sifuna, is here, and other senators who had already been introduced because Millie decided to deal with the ladies and not the men. And I think that's the marginalization that we need to discuss afterwards. Senator Professor Kamar was in the house. Senator Professor Kamar, I know you have a lot of things to say about Mama, but perhaps time will not allow us. Senator Beatrice Ogola. Senator Beatrice Ogola. We were together in the Senate, and she was making her way here. I think she'll be here in a short while. Was there any other senator in the house? Senator Betsiengo, the leader of women in the big party called ODM. But because your Secretary General is here today, he might be the one to speak on behalf of the ODM party. Then Senator Edwin Sifuna, we thank you. Last night you sent us your contribution of a significant amount of money that was handed over to the funeral committee. I will allow you to come and address the mourners.
Thank you, Honorable Kajwang.